Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Clover Press live stream. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Welcome to our Facebook page. We're so excited that you are here to join us for this wonderful conversation that we're going to have with Ray Troll. And yep, that's this guy. Oh, this guy over here. I don't know which window.
No, you're over there. Yeah.
Okay. And so we have a Kickstarter that just launched today. And before we get to taking your questions, which if you do have a question, please leave it in the comments on the side of or underneath Facebook or underneath for YouTube. I'm stumbling over my words already.
One of those spots.
And we will we'll get to answering your questions. If you have anything you want to ask Ray Troll, you know, his favorite color, his favorite food, how much money is in his bank account, he'll answer whatever you want. So just leave a question there. Well, we have a Kickstarter, and
yeah.
Ray, you are partnering with us, Clover Press, to release a really huge hardcover book, art book of your artwork. And so I want to bring up this screen here, and let's talk about this book for a little bit. We launched this morning. We're already over the 16,000 mark, and we have 149 backers, 149 books, and this is just the first day, just the first few hours. Cool. How do you feel about this so far, Ray?
I'm kind of blown away, man. I'm really humbled by this. I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm sort of sleep deprived today because I was worried, and I think within the first hour we got really great levels. So I'm really excited, man. This is really cool. It really is an honor just to see people that have been following my stuff all these years, and jumping on the bandwagon and ordering a book. And this is a comprehensive look at, well, basically 40 years. I'm almost 70 years old, but 40 years of my life up here on this wonderful island called Revillagigedo in the town of Ketchikan on traditional Tlingit lands, Southeast Alaska. What a cool place. And this is where I found my home all those years ago, and found my much better half here, but found a following. And yeah, it's really cool to see it, man.
Now, this is a cover of the book, and this is one of your most famous images, Spawn Till You Die, which it's appropriate that we use it for the cover and also for the title of this book.
Yeah, Spawn Till You Die, actually, in one of the essays, I asked a friend of mine, Brad Mattson, to write an essay at the front of this book, and David Craig also is a professor at Willamette down in Oregon. But Brad Mattson's an author, done 4 books with Brad, and he wrote an essay that just kind of talks about my art, but also talks about this image in particular. And he says at the end of that essay that this is my tombstone art. In other words, when I'm dead and gone, and I've heard myself introduced this way, it's like, yeah, it's Ray Troll, he's the Spawn Till You Die guy. So it's an image that people just associate with me. I created it in 1987, and I think it just looks badass cool on the cover of a book like that.
Absolutely, it does. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Kickstarter, the way this works is that you pledge a certain amount, and you get some rewards. And in this case, the reward's going to be the book, but we also have, if you pledge at different amounts or different tiers, you can get some bonus rewards like this puzzle right here, this 350 piece puzzle.
People have been asking for puzzles from me forever, and so here it is. So it's really cool to see this as one of the tier levels, one of the reward levels.
And your intricate pieces like these are perfect for puzzles. Like it's just kind of a match made in heaven there. Oh, we added a collage of some of the times your shirts have been seen in the wild or on TV.
Yeah, they pop up in pop culture in different spots on TV shows and or in movies or in magazines. And so, yeah, you kind of see some of the celebrities in there, kind of in the edge of that collage there.
Just a reminder, if you have any comments or questions, if you have any questions you want to ask Ray, then please leave us a comment on the YouTube video or the Facebook video, and we'll get to answering your questions. But yeah, look, see, these are some of the page spreads. This is a little bit of a sample. This is just early preliminary stuff, and some of it might change, but this is kind of the general idea of what the book will look like on the inside. Just full page artwork of your art. It'll be beautifully produced so we can see all the little details.
Yeah, you know, when I first approached Clover Press, and I just love the books that they're doing, and the idea of doing kind of a kind of oversized graphic book, hardbound with some really special, cool things in it. We were initially talking about a page count of 120 or so, but then as the designer editor Robbie Roberts went through all my stuff, it expanded to 200 pages. So because he said there's so much good stuff, so which is a real compliment. So it was really cool that Robbie said that.
That's fantastic. Yeah. For the today only, for the first 24 hours, we have an early bird special where the book is priced at $52. And so if you want it at a little bit of a cheaper price, then you want to be a backer today. It's going to go back up to its regular price, which I can't remember at the time what that is, but it doesn't matter because right now
save $7 today. Yeah,
there you go. That's right. And then yes, early bird pricing on all of the different reward tiers as well to reflect that. So look at all this kind of stuff. You can get postcards, you can get stickers, you can get a dust jacket right here, and you're going to sign a number of these books as well.
Yep.
Really great.
Yeah, that dust jacket is really cool. It's one of my favorite things. Like my wife came in this morning and said, "I want to order those." I think we'll have some, but
I'll
yeah,
give one to you.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, let's see here.
And I threw in some original pencil sketches too, and I guess those are already gone, man. So
all of them are already gone?
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
They're all gone.
I think they're way further down here. We have
they're at the bottom there. So yeah, go down a little bit further too. There's if you would, Curtis.
Sure.
There's some toward the bottom there. Like that's a pencil sketch for a t-shirt idea there. And this is one I kind of really like. It's sort of creepy, which is, you know, my art is a little edgy. Eat, pray, love. And then down on the bottom one there, I think is, actually below that. Keep going. I'm not scrolling with you. Oh, there's scientific studies. That's a cool one. And that one went right away. So anyways, this is the one I really like too. Dungeons and Dragons.
This one went almost right away, and I can see why. It is just a fantastic illustration, and then it's I'm sure this one will be in the book too, right? The actual finished version of it.
Yeah, I hope so. I've entrusted Robbie to make the cut to strangle the darlings, as they say, and you know, because they're all darling to me. But Robbie is he's got some initial things, and surely with this, you know, Kickstarter going so well, it looks like, you know, it's going to be pretty exciting to see as we put the finishing touches on it. So there's still kind of the final back and forth that Robbie and I need to do, and I got to title all these things, but I just trust his editorial sense.
Okay, so I think we have a question here. We're gonna ask. We're gonna see what we have to say here. Now, I don't know what this means. You'll have to tell me, when is the next road trip book and to where? This is probably a very specific question.
Well, yeah, I've done a number of road trip books. Planet Ocean was the first one I did with Brad Mattson, and I ended up doing 2 other road trip books. One is Cruising the Fossil Freeway with Dr. Kirk Johnson. He's now at the Smithsonian. He was at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. We did that one in 2007, and then we did another one that came out 10 years later in 2017, Cruising the Fossil Coastline. And we are in discussions to do another one. So that is actually coming up. And that'll be, actually, it's a fossil map book with another press. Sorry to mention this to you here and plug it. Another publisher. But Kirk Johnson and I are going to do one. It looks like a fossil map atlas geared to kids, oversized, an atlas of fossil maps of the entire United States. So the next trip is going to be the big East Coast trip, because fossils are everywhere, man. and
Yeah.
I've done pretty much the Midwest and then the entire West Coast and the Rocky Mountain states with Kirk. And so now we're going to take care of the rest of the United States. And if I live long enough, maybe we'll do the rest of the world.
You can come up to Canada for a little bit.
Well, we already did British Columbia, which is where you're at.
Hey, yeah, that's right. Perfect. Okay, so I have a couple of pictures that I have imported here that I want to ask you about because these are some of the images that I just really, really like, and I thought I'd share them with everybody here and get your thoughts. This picture, absolutely love. Jammin' salmon. It's so good. Tell me about the origins of this drawing right here.
Well, it's wordplay and rhyme or whatever. I'm a songwriter as well, but wordplay has always been what I like. Bad puns but jam and salmon and just that idea of jam and salmon. But here we have it's a pen and ink on paper. This is old school. I am old school in terms of analog stuff. This is pen and ink with watercolor, and over the years too, I've been involved with some different music festivals, and there was a music festival in Cordova, Alaska, that I was inspired to do this for. And in here, you'll see, well, 3 salmon up in the stage. And there's a little lump sucker there, one of my favorite fish, kind of scurrying across the kind of dance floor there with the sea star. And yeah, that was pretty much just kind of riff on jam and salmon, man. And salmon really are the lifeblood of the Pacific Northwest. Your bioregion as well, Curtis. It's really helped sustain civilization on this coast for thousands of years, and really millions of years with the entire ecosystem. So, anyways, sorry, I'm nerding out again. Did you have
That's
another
okay. Yeah.
one?
Oh, I just wanted to say that we have right outside my house here, actually, right outside this window, there's a little creek where where salmon spawn, and every year the schools around our neighborhood do little salmon releases, or we go and watch the salmon swimming upstream, and it's fun. It's neat to see.
Yeah, it's inspirational. And every time the salmon return to the rivers and the creeks, there's kind of a feeling of solace, a feeling of happiness, really, because we're doing some pretty harsh things to the planet these days, but knowing that the salmon are still coming back is always kind of an indication that something's working.
Absolutely. Here, this is a general comment for you, Ray. Mark says, "Hi, Ray. I love your art and greatly appreciate your work for salmon awareness everywhere. I ordered your book this morning and can't wait to get it." So thank you for
I
your
like him
support, Mark.
already. Thank you, Mark. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's remarkable.
And here's another Mark. He says, "Are you still playing in your band? Tell us about your band."
My band. It's a wily bunch of musicians that I have wrangled up. We are the Ratfish Wranglers. And I've been playing music with Russell Wodehouse. We write a lot of songs together. And Shauna Lee, she's the singer in the band. We've been playing together for about over 30 years. And sciencey rock and roll, I would say, kind of PowerPoint rock and roll, sort of folky, sort of rock and roll. I mean, genre crossing. We, break those barriers down. But it's kind of science rock and roll. And we love to just do originals. We do some covers when we're kind of in the bar band kind of phase of things. But Chaz Gist is the bass player. Brian Curtis plays lead guitar with us sometimes. And then Alex Nelson has played lead guitar, and some other luminaries that joined the band. And then I'm really happy to say my son, Patrick Troll, is playing drums. He's, back there in the rhythm section. And we've done gigs around the Pacific Northwest quite a bit, looking at maybe doing something down in Monterey later this year. Things are maybe coming together with that. So we get down into, we migrate down the coast. We've played in Oregon, Washington, not in Canada yet. So I don't know. Just saying.
You're close enough.
We might be available, try to get a gig here.
Right. Okay.
You know anybody? But then all over the state here in Alaska. But yeah,
Perfect.
it's kind of a side thing, and it is one of my beliefs and my mottos that I throw out there, that I think everybody should be in a band, regardless of talent or ambition, you know. And you learn as you go, but mainly because it's a collaborative, creative effort, and you're dealing with other creatives and other interests, and you try to unify that into. You have to mesh out a lot of stuff too, you know,
Yeah,
in a
for
band
sure.
always. But the writing of the songs has been really fun, and seeing songs, writing lyrics and or working out the rhythm, and then taking it, you know, just getting the whole thing together. And it's just so much fun. And really, like I said, punk rock, you know, three chords and the truth, or even, you know, I love one chord songs too, you know. So, but also knowing to get some really good players in behind you and or in the band, the flash, as it were, really make it for a dynamic thing. But we started throwing science into it too in a bigger way. So a little bit of
Do you get
talk,
any
rock.
do you get any draws from schools and that kind of thing to come and
Yeah, we've done some
play?
school things. We have done, yeah. When we do the adult sciencey show, we talk more freely about spawning and that kind of thing. But no, we've done a lot of kids shows too. And actually, you know, one of the things I really do think that once upon a time, I kind of Russell and I got together, and I said I want to try to write a song about uh, paleontology or geology that is as easy to remember as your ABC song. That's how kids learn, you know, ABCs through a
Yeah, for
song.
sure.
Well, we wrote a geologically inclined song called Ages of Rock instead of Rock of Ages, and to help kids learn their geologic ages. And so it's worked.
Wow.
So we've had kids sing that to us, and there's even a YouTube video of that song, Ages of Rock by the Ratfish Wranglers. Checking out.
That's amazing. I'll have to do that because I don't know my geological ages. Have to memorize the song.
Well, you know,
And that's such a great thing.
I think it's important that people know their geologic ages. I really do. I think it's I'm on a mission here, you know, in that I think people need to know the history of the planet, because we're going through a planetary change right now, and unless you know what's happened to the planet before, you have no idea where we're going.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
and also I do a lot of stuff in my art to do it in a goofy manner. I think that people should know where they come from and what they are, the animal that they are. So, sorry,
Yep. No,
I go
very
on.
true. Okay, I got another image here that I want to show you. And if any of you are watching and you have a question for Ray, please leave us a comment on the Facebook group or Facebook video or the YouTube video, and we will address your questions. But I want to show you this picture here. Tell me about this one. I love it. It's called A Man, a Shark, and 20 Years.
Yeah, this is the buzzsaw shark. Helicoprion is its name, and the 20 years I'm referring to in that title is I became obsessed with this prehistoric shark. It's actually technically a ghost shark, because that branch of the shark group is not a modern day shark. It really belongs more closely. It's more closely related to ratfish, and ratfish are their closest living cousins. But back in about 1993, I was touring through the LA County Museum of Natural History with Brad Matson. We were working on our Planet Ocean book, and I was shown this fossil, and it was a big spiral of teeth. It looked like an ammonite, which is what I thought it was at first, but it was a big spiral of teeth, about almost 24 inches across, almost 2 feet across, and it was a spiral, perfectly preserved teeth. And there were tiny teeth in the center of it and these large teeth in the outer part of the world. And the scientists that we were with, the paleontologists, said, "Hey, check this out. It's called Helicoprion. Scientists have known about it for over 100 years, and nobody's ever figured it out. Nobody's understood. There's still a lot of controversy as to where this spiral of teeth even goes on this big shark." So
So strange.
I became obsessed with it, and I'm just a lowly artist, but I just became obsessed, and I wanted to learn about it. And this is what I do. I just tumble deeper into a topic, And I tracked down the experts in the world and drew it out. I thought it went just like anybody else. I had these different ideas at first about where that spiral of teeth went. But after a point, there's not that many paleoichthyologists in the world. And I learned from some of the best of them. And one of the first guys to write a paper about it, contacted him in Denmark. And 20 years of my life going by understanding what this shark was related to, how big they got. In about 2012, got obsessed with it again when a student in Idaho reached out to me by the name of Jesse Pruitt. And Jesse said, "Hey, I'm working on this master's, my senior project here at Idaho State University, and I've become interested in the shark." I told him as much as I knew, and his professor, Leif Tapanilla, got interested in it. And I guess to fast forward, I got Leif and Jesse all excited about it and reached out to other scientists that I knew to kind of help assemble this team that then CT scanned one of the best fossils this ever, and at no small expense. So we had to get some money to do that, and a ratfish scientist helped out with that. And lo and behold, it showed in this one fossil that spiral of teeth is in the lower jaw of the shark. And the upper jaw has got flat teeth in it, and it's just this weird thing where basically it was slicing things in two, and it was the dominant predator in the Permian oceans, 275, 280 million years ago, and they were all over the planet. They were the top beasts in the ocean. And so it was just an exciting journey to go on. And the paper was published in 2013 on helicoprion. We dubbed it the buzzsaw shark, and that name is stuck now. So if you Google this, buzzsaw shark or helicoprion, but we needed a cool name for it. I was calling it the world tooth shark for a while, but we mounted an exhibit about it. I did a whole bunch of artwork about it when the paper came out, revealing that lower jaw was completely full of these spiral teeth. And what's happening too, Curtis, not to go on too long about this is a shark that has cheated the tooth fairy. So it's a ghost shark technically, but as the shark is growing larger, so it's born with basically a small whorl, but as it's retaining its teeth as it grows bigger. And so the teeth are coming from the back of the mouth and ratcheting into place, slowly growing, and it's never shedding its teeth. So it reinforces that spiral, and it keeps growing them. Modern day sharks produce thousands of teeth in their lifetime, but they shed them. This is one that kept it in the middle and retained it.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, I hope everybody found that interesting. I'm going to have to Google it and see some of these fossils. This is going to be great. Yeah. I've got some other questions for you here. Oh, yeah, some other people who are commenting. They just think this is really amazing stuff, too. So, yeah, fascinating stories. I have a comment from Roan. He says, "Hi, Ray. I grew up set netting in Kasilof, Alaska." Kasilof, okay.
Yeah.
And have always been a huge fan of your work. I was wondering if you have ever dabbled in relief printmaking. It is my favorite medium.
It's Rowan?
Rowan.
Yeah. Funny that you should say that. Yes, I love relief printing. In fact, that was my undergrad major, was printmaking, and then really relief printmaking is my thing. But when I graduated from college, I didn't have a press, so I've done some hand press stuff. But actually, I mean, even here, right next to me is a hook, line, and thinker. See, hook, line, and thinker instead of hook, line, and sinker. But the original is a lino cut, so that's a relief print. So there you see Rodin's The Thinker. Actually, because I love wordplay. So this is a lino cut, which is basically like a wood cut. Printed it and then did watercolor on it. But then when we did it as a T-shirt, Grace Freeman helped me out here, and she did the digital coloring on this. But I did always, because I love bad puns and stupid jokes so much, I wanted to have the thinker sitting on a toilet and call it hook, line, and stinker.
Ah, yeah, right.
Just
Okay, so
cringeworthy, I know. Sorry.
oh no, this is the best.
Can't help myself.
Okay, I want to show you another picture here. This one's called Sleeper Shark Sleepover, and I love the style. It looks like you are working on black paper, like construction
Yeah.
paper, maybe, or something like that. Is it chalk or pastel?
You're exactly right. It's black paper, but no, not on construction paper because that'll just fade away on you.
Oh
And
yeah.
this is done on very fancy art paper. I think it's black Strathmore paper, or so I love my handmade papers. And that is colored pencils, Prismacolor pencil on black paper,
Oh, okay.
and maybe black Strathmore. And I test the archival capabilities of these things. And yeah, and this one actually hasn't really been seen by the world. I haven't shared it. It'll be in the book, so you're sharing it now. But sleeper sharks, I'm fascinated with these guys. They're in the dogfish family, so it's a type of shark. But these guys can get up to 20 feet long, weigh about a ton. They're predatory sharks. They're called sleeper sharks because they move so very, very slow. They all have these weird eye parasites, and so you can see those hanging off the eyeballs there.
I was gonna ask about that.
Some people have theorized that this very slow, sluggish shark actually uses those eye parasites as a kind of lure. So it's a symbiotic relationship. So imagine that you're trying to lure your prey closer to you with this wiggling thing on your eyeball. And so as they get closer, then this giant sleeper shark edging its way oh so close to you very slowly, it'll gobble you up real quickly. And they found really incredible things in their bellies. The same genus is found in the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific. It's a Pacific sleeper shark. In the Atlantic, they call it a Greenland shark. It's a different species of the genus Somniosus. But they found things like entire caribou in their stomachs. When caribou try to swim from island to island, they found beautiful silvery salmon in their bellies too. Like, how does a very sluggish shark like that get these things in its belly? And the incredible thing about sleeper sharks is that in the Greenland shark, there was a scientific study that aged them at about 400, one specimen at about 450 years old. So the oldest living vertebrate on the planet. There's been some controversy about that, but we do know they're extremely long-lived because they're like the garbage cleaners of the ocean. They're down there. They come up at night, and they're around the world. You've got them down there off the coast of British Columbia. We've got them up here, and they're way, way deep. And they're just cool. And there's a sleeper shark sleepover because I like a bad pun.
Of course. How big is this original art?
If you're looking at it, well, it's about that's only about 8 by 10 inches. That's a smaller drawing. Some of them get huge, just like a sleeper shark.
Okay. Let's check on a Kickstarter. Let's see how it's doing here.
See if it went up in the meantime here.
We're over 17 now.
Wow. Okay. We started it. Wow. This is like a call-in show there, or whatever. Oh,
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Let's
If any of you
100,000.
We would love to get some more questions for Ray Troll. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Anything you want to know about his work or his life, then maybe he'll answer all of it. We'll have to see what the questions are. But yeah, or you can go over and support our Kickstarter for this amazing art book, Spawn Till You Die, the Fin Art of Ray Troll. And there's the URL at the bottom, tinyurl.com/raytroll1 will get you to the Kickstarter campaign. I shortened it because otherwise I'd have to say a whole bunch of numbers and letters.
Right. No, that works. Yeah, but if there's a piece of art that anyone just wants to know a little bit more about too, I'm happy to talk about that. Or a T-shirt that you've got from back in the day.
How many unique T-shirts have you made over the years? Have you kept count?
Well, actually, we just went through a project of where we brought all. I mean, we brought boxes and boxes down from the attic, and so I don't know if you can see over here. We started piling them up, and there's boxes and boxes and stacks of T-shirts. There's 50 shirts in the T-shirt line right now, and then there's been as many as 65 or 70 in the line at any one time, and they kind of come and go. But I'm estimating 300 to 400 designs, something like that. But no, we're actually going to go. We're going to figure out how many we actually got into print and fire up the press. You know, it's not just, you don't just crank out a dozen or so. You got to fire up the press and print a couple hundred at a time. So over the years, it's really been my T-shirts that have, afforded me this, art lifestyle. And but yeah, so I love putting my art on T-shirts and getting it out there in the world and seeing people wearing the stuff. And there's little slogans. It's kind of become kind of an identifier for people from Alaska or the Pacific Northwest, kind of almost a tribal thing, if you will. But I also slide the science stuff in there wherever I can, or when the muse strikes me. Yeah.
And what is your best-selling shirt? Which design?
Well, I think we already mentioned my tombstone image.
Yes, right.
Spawn till you die. This is the uncensored version with the naked people around the
yeah.
there. Over the years, probably that one, but right now, Star Wars, your generation, and mine, but the Star Wars themed ones I have Return of the Sockeye and The Empire Strikes Bass are way
That's
at
right.
the top.
See if I can get that picture. I have the Return of the Sockeye image here. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny about that one in that I did this actually in the 1990s, and we printed it on a white T-shirt, and the coloring was a little off. And then about in the early 2000s, we kept getting requests for it, and so it just tapered off in sales. And then I kept thinking, well, maybe I need to do that again. So I went back to it, made sure I had a better scan, and then I did the colorization myself, and we printed it on a black T-shirt. Post Industrial Press down in Tacoma, they've been doing their magic with printing these shirts all these years. And when we did that, like boom, it just went right to the top of the charts, and it's still doing well. And it's a parody, so
Yep.
And that's the Death Star fish down there in the lower right.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
And I like the little guy up in the top left corner who's kind of flying away there.
He's in his waders there, his hip waders.
Yeah,
That's kind of his self-portrait there. He's trying to fish to this, and then you see the gill netters going through there with the gill nets. So they're trying to catch the sockeye. And then this kind of harkens back to my youth. I really am still a 5-year-old, but when I know I'm in the zone, just like I was as a kid when I'm lost in the world of drawing, I start making sound effects. So just like a kid when you're drawing an explosion, and when I do my little battle scenes as a little obsessed little kid, I would go as I was doing the explosion. So here you see an exploding sockeye in the back there. And I think I actually made those noises. My mother used to worry about the noises she would hear coming from my room when I was drawing. And that really is the truth. Like, what are you doing? I'm drawing. So
funny. Hey, here's a good question for you. What T-shirt design offended the most people?
I'm sorry, Mark. I don't talk about those at all. This is we all need editors. Oh, actually, there's one T-shirt. I just had this silly idea, and the line came to me at first, and it was called "The Perils of Nude Fly Fishing,"
Okay.
and sort of a little Victorian vibe to the perils of, like these old classic adventurer books. But here
Yeah.
are the perils of nude fly fishing, and the images popped in my head, like, if there's somebody out fly fishing, what is that? And they're naked. What's that fish going to go for? So, and I thought, well, maybe I should call it the perils of nude bait fishing, because, anyways. So I did that, but actually I didn't do that, because when it strays over the line a little bit, there's this guy by the name of Rollo Trout that steps in. Curiously, he has the same initials as me. So Rollo did that one. I blame it on him. But that's an edgy
Okay.
one. But now, weirdly, it was kind of up in our shop, kind of slightly out of view, and kind of up high. And now it's we put it in a different spot in the store, and it seems to be selling very well.
Oh,
Again,
there you go.
I don't know if it's going to make the cut in the book, so to speak.
Do you have designs that have been in your store since the very, very beginning, or do you cycle through?
In the very beginning, we didn't have a store, our own gallery. We were just selling to other stores, and that was kind of a way to get the shirts out there. But we had to make that big step. My wife Michelle agreed. I wanted to do a store, and Michelle, the task fell to Michelle, and because she's the intelligent one here in the duo, and she knew how to balance a checkbook and all that good stuff. She has a great design sensibility. She's a graphic designer / artist herself, and she has kept that gallery going for 31 years.
Wow.
And
Well done.
it's called the Soho Coho, and it's appropriately situated on a salmon spawning stream in an old bordello, an old bawdy house. So,
Okay, I'm gonna see. Let's see here. I got another picture I want to talk about here. This one, happily ever raptor. So we've talked a lot about your marine life, but you also do a lot of dinosaur artwork as well. Tell me
dinosaurs
about this.
get all the love in prehistory, but a lot of the prehistoric stuff, I've got a trilobite tattooed here on my right arm, and but yeah, who doesn't love dinosaurs? Well, actually, all kids love dinosaurs, but around age 10, they start becoming interested in other things, and by their teenage years, they've forgotten about dinosaurs. But some of us, our paleo nerd heart beats on through our life. And actually, this is an earlier T-shirt. The idea, as science keeps, those
Evolving.
scientists keep figuring stuff out. But technically, birds are dinosaurs. So dinosaurs did not go extinct. They are still with us. And that is the consensus of the scientific community. There's still some holdouts saying, well, it's an earlier branch, but basically birds are reptiles, and we know they come off of that dinosaur branch. Most scientists think they come right out of the raptors. And so this is an earlier version. An earlier version of this, there were no feathers on this. Now we know that and I'd done this in the 1990s. And so recently I went back and put some feathers on it, because, how could I have that? A lot of the raptors, the troodons, and that's a troodon there, or Deinonychus is, so I'm throwing these names out there, but we now know, mainly because the beautiful fossils coming out of China, that a lot of the raptors and many of the branches of the dinosaur tree, there were feathers. They're feathered. And so I added feathers onto it. And yeah, they come right out of the raptors. And so once upon a time, dinosaurs evolved from birds evolved from dinosaurs, and they live happily ever after.
Raptor.
So,
So you said you did
yeah.
this in the 90s. Was it a sort of a tie into Jurassic Park, that
Yeah,
era?
yeah, and suddenly there was this interest in the velociraptors, and
Yep.
Spielberg had done that great film, of course, Jurassic Park. It was kind of an excuse for me to kind of go steering back into the first love of my life, which was dinosaurs. The first thing I ever drew as a kid was a dinosaur, and with crayons, and I'm still drawing dinosaurs with crayons.
So Robbie just sent me the this picture here. There it is, the perils of nude fly fishing.
Yes, and yeah, Rollo Trout did that one. That scoundrel, and
That
yes,
scoundrel.
and he's sort of not. Well, I just like to say the water was very cold, so the bait was not that enticing that day. But yes, there's the fish about to, and there's his nude companion on the shoreline observing this terrible event about to happen.
I
Which
like that you
reminds
sort
me
of.
of a terrible fish on the Amazon that we could talk about for a nanosecond. The
Oh, sure.
Candiru. Yeah, I've been to the Amazon, lucky enough to go down there 4 times with my
Wow,
scientist
nice.
friend, Kirk Johnson. But I've done a lot of Amazon art. Amazonian, I went to the Brazilian Amazon. And there in the Amazon, there's over 1,000 different kinds of, 1,000 different species of catfish. 1,000. And there's there's 3,000 to 4,000 species in that, maybe even more in the Amazon basin. But one of those species of catfish is called the candiru, and they're about yay long. And the candiru has in the muddy rivers, they have this nasty habit of jamming their way into any orifice on bigger catfish usually, and they are bloodsuckers. Well, every now and then they make the fatal mistake of going on a one-way trip into a human's body. And I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, no.
But I've done a lot of artwork about Candiru.
Okay, we'll see some in the
And a
book, I
song.
guess.
There's a song about it. Actually, Google Candiru song, and I wrote a song about it. That was in a
Perfect.
traveling museum exhibit.
Okay, will do. Let's check in on this Kickstarter again. Let's see how it's doing. If you have any questions, we are going to probably wrap it up not too long from now. So get those questions in if you have any for Ray Troll. Ask him about his artwork and stuff. We're up to 17 and a half, so that's kind of cool. 159 people. It's a lot of fun putting these together, and just the excitement of you know how are people going to respond. You never know how people are going to respond to these
Yeah, like
Kickstarters.
I
And
said, I was
yeah,
losing sleep over it. So this last night, but no, it's so cool to see. And then we've got 13 days to go. So keeping the momentum going, and so basically these books will be out. Uh, Hitting those goals. So it looks like we're hitting it by December. So you have them in your hand. So good Christmas present, you know. So
that's right.
I can't wait to see it myself.
And we'll have them in stores as well. So if you're not
Yeah,
able to back the Kickstarter, which we would love it if you did, but we understand if you can't for whatever reason and such, but they will be available in retail stores for order if you go to your favorite bookstore or such. Yeah,
right.
the holiday season.
So, but yeah, with the Kickstarter, there's just that you get that extra the cool extra things like the book plates, and then the dust cover, and then the puzzle. Are those puzzles? Is that just one level, Curtis? Will there be enough? Are they going to run out, or will they,
Mhm.
if people want to pledge at that level, they know they can get that puzzle?
Absolutely. So the puzzles, all of the tiers, the puzzle is one of the first tier. Let's just go back to it and have a look here.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask.
This,
I didn't want to. I want to make
yeah,
sure that
yeah,
you
for
could
sure.
still get those puzzles, because I've just posted that on my Facebook page, and people want that puzzle, but you got to get it
You
with
can
the
get it.
book.
That's right. So you get the book, or you can get a tier that has the book and the stickers and postcards, or you can get
Oh,
here's a
there it is.
tier that has the puzzle and the postcards and the stickers.
Okay, cool.
Uh, so this one has
With
the dust
that
jacket
cool
and the
dust cover,
books, and
that dust
there's a
jacket.
bunch
Yeah.
of different options. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
you
you
know
have
that
to.
it's not that you're going to run out of those. So that's good to know.
No, and what'll happen is we'll make the puzzle after the Kickstarter is over, so we know
Okay,
how many we need to make.
save one for me.
Okay. Yeah, I
Can I
won't
get a
do.
deal on that for
I think
me?
we could probably swing it.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see here. I have one more picture I want to show. Let's get this Kickstarter off of here. Where is the picture? Here's another. I don't know why my white background disappeared on this one, but so
There
again,
it is.
Pulp Fiction. This is another parody, a parody design of yours, and
Yes,
I love all the
indeed it
little jokes
is.
in here.
Yeah. So it's just cheap. So Pulp Fiction, as you know, playing Pulp Fiction, cheap.
Yep.
And there's the famous scene in there. Is it's Uma, right? That was in that film. No.
Uma
Scarlett
Thurman.
Johansson was in that film, right?
No, it was Uma Thurman.
It was Uma. All right, I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
But John Travolta, and then
And
What's his
Samuel L.
name?
Jackson.
Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson's
Yeah.
there. Le Boat instead of the cheeseburger royale, Le Boat Royale. But
Yeah.
there's that big scene there where they with the hypodermic needle, where they revive. So that's
Yeah.
what's going on there, and it was just kind of the time, and Pulp Fiction, Pulp Fiction. Once again, wordplay, and there's actually kind of an allusion to the pulp mill. So there's a pulp mill, and so the kind of little background environmental thing, the forest has been clear cut for the pulp mill. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm always kind of throwing that stuff in there because I can't help but be who I am.
Of course. No, it's great.
Just kind of in the background there. So there's every kind of level to these things, and if you look at the image, it's also designed so it looks a little bit like a book. So if you look closely
Yeah,
at
you
that,
can see totally. You can see the spine, the impression of
yeah.
the spine going down the middle there.
So that was a
Uh,
T-shirt and pen and ink, on paper, and then I did the digital coloring on that, and was just learning
oh
my
yeah.
way around a Wacom tablet. So that's one of my first efforts at drawing with the digital world there. So
Well, there you go. Looks good. Oh, Robbie's popped in to say
oh,
you can order more puzzles as add-ons when you check out. So yeah, you can make your pledge. So
oh,
if you the tier that you want, like you want a dust jacket, and that's it, but you also want a puzzle, and there's no tier for just the dust jacket and the puzzle together. When you get to the checkout, it will give you an option to add on if you want to add on the bookmarks or if you want to add on the the stickers or whatever puzzles are there. So if you want to have 5 puzzles and give out
all
to
right.
all your family and friends at Christmas time, you can add
Oh,
on 5 puzzles. There you
ah,
go.
good to know. Well, like I said, I'm an old boomer. This is new for me. This newfangled way of going about publishing stuff. But I got to say, and somebody's just asking me in one of these. I'm doing these interviews right now with that I have to sit here and type. But someone was asking about my experience with Kickstarter and how it's different, and this is really different for me to just in the interview or whatever. I was just writing back that usually in the past it's been I worked for years on book projects, and usually with a co-author, Brad or Kirk or uh, uh, a few other folks over the years. But I've done a number of books. But then you work together, work for years, and then you send it all off. You send the hard drive off or whatever. You upload the stuff, and then you wait several
Yeah.
months, and then the books go to the bookstores, and you wait to another half a year goes by, and you don't know how it's doing, and maybe you do a book signing or two, but it just seems that it's hard to make a direct contact with an audience. And so this is pretty cool to see, to kind of go through the terror of like, will it work? But yeah, and then having the fans just say, yeah, we want this. So it's really cool to immediately engage. So,
Definitely.
and I
Yeah.
like doing little products. So it's cool that, Robbie and the crew are like, well, let's do magnets, let's do bookmarks. And Robbie's done a great job, just a fantastic job designing these things. He went to the
Yeah.
puzzle
Yeah.
company and did the deal with the puzzle, got the puzzles designed and ordered. And I'm just, yeah. So I'm really thankful for that.
Well, we've been on for, quite a while here, so I think we should probably wrap up. I want to just share with you one more time that URL, Spawn Till You Die. The Fin Art of Ray Troll, our Kickstarter project. It's a big, fancy hardcover art book that features the incredible art of Ray Troll. And you can find that at tinyurl.com/raytroll1. That'll take you right to what do you have there, Ray?
I'm sorry, it's a coelacanth. It's one of our lobe fin cousins. So he approves, he or she.
He approves. Perfect.
Yes. I have to show that. No, I had, all right, well, cool. No, thank you. And yeah, got 13 more days and we'll see where it all goes. I'm pretty stoked. And thank you, Curtis, and for what you're doing down there in BC. You're going to form a band with your kids, right? And then head on up to my island and play a few tunes sometime.
Yeah, we'll play a show together sometime.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. See if
we'll be
that
jamming
happens.
like the salmon. So
you can visit Ray over at trollart.com, and you can also find us at cloverpress.us. And yeah, back our Kickstarter, and we are looking forward to seeing how it does in the next 13 days. And we're definitely looking forward to getting these books out to all of you, so you can all have a really great place on your coffee table for Ray Troll's art, so people can look at it when they visit your home or on your bookshelf, where it's going to probably be among some other fantastic artists as well. So thanks everybody for watching our live stream, for taking the time to ask some questions, and yeah, maybe we'll do this again at some point if people want to do it again. Thanks, Ray, for being a part of this.
Yeah, thank you, Curtis. A lot of fun, man. Thanks, Clover Press.
Yep.
Thank you, all you fans. Appreciate it. Really do.
We'll see you next time.